Welcome to this episode. Looking back at our experience with the insight and the wisdom that we have now can be a total bitch. In fact, in my signature program called Becoming, I have a whole lesson dedicated to why hindsight is a bitch. Because when we look at our experiences with judgment, when we look back and say, why did I do that? How could I have not have known better? It doesn't help us grow. So many of you may be out of a toxic relationship now and able to reflect back like, what the fuck was going on with me? Why didn't I see that red flag? Why didn't I leave even though I did see all of the red flags? So today we're really going to inject some compassion into your hindsight and talk about why. Why do we stay? Why do we stay despite those red flags that start to pop up? So that you can be able to access real healing around your past decisions. And remember to stick around to the end of the episode where I will pull an oracle card. This card offers a specific message that you can hold on to this week, that you can anchor into, that you can breathe into to stay focused in your healing. Welcome to Heartbreak to Wholeness, the podcast helping you heal from the mindfuck of narcissistic relationships and move towards the secure, peaceful woman you want to become. We will explore all of the tools that you need to get through your grief, to move past those I'll be alone forever fears, and rebuild your confidence so you can move forward in healthy relationships as your full self, never to get sucked into the narcissistic spell again. I am your host, Brie Walta, relationship clarity coach and EFT certified practitioner. Let's dive in. Welcome back. I want to start by just saying that I have been there. I have been there and trying to figure out why the hell I didn't leave when all signs pointed to red flags very early in the relationship. And in analyzing my behavior, as well as learning more about narcissistic manipulation and the psychology of what happens in our brains when we're in those relationships, I've distilled down what I believe are the main reasons that we stay, the main reasons why we don't leave when we see red flags. The first reason is that we have excitement and hope for our promised future. So when you're with somebody in these types of toxic relationships that start with the love bombing, they start with the really intense beginning, the too much too soon, you're with somebody who promised you the moon, right? You felt the synergy, you felt the synchronicities, you felt the chemistry, very unlike anything that you have ever felt before. It was full of big dreams and majestic bouts of I love you, and it felt really good. It felt really good to experience that level of desire and all of these promises for this future that you were going to have together. So what happens when things start happening that contradict that fun, magical place is that we start to justify. Oh, he was having a bad day. Oh, he didn't really mean that. And the more that happens, the more that we get removed from our reality and we live in this place that I call potential land. We start to live in this place of fantasy that it's going to get back to how it was in the beginning, that we're going to be able to achieve all of these things that we had talked about once we just figure out our therapy or our shit or whatever's happening in the reality. That place, the potential land place, is fueled by the partner's promises that they will change, that things will change. When you get that promise from somebody, when they even say like, I promise I'm going to do it different. I promise I'm going to go to therapy. It's almost like they did. The level of dopamine, the level of safety and satisfaction that we can feel from that promise feels very intense. And it really fuels this vision of potential land. It really fuels that we're going to be able to get back there. You get so committed, so attached to that future that was painted in the beginning of the relationship, and you experience that person as the person in that painting, your ideal person, that when they start acting otherwise, it's hard for us to wrap our head around why they can't get back there. And if you're in a narcissistic relationship, They may get back there to loop you back in, but it's never a genuine, authentic realization of that reality. But we don't know that when we're in it. So the potential land, the excitement, the hope, the dopamine, we're stuck in this sort of loop of things aren't feeling good, but I don't really want to acknowledge it or be here, so I'm going to be in potential land. And then we're also not wanting to let go of the time that we've invested, of our loyalty that was very real since the beginning, of I see you as my person, I'm committed to making this relationship work, I'm committed to putting in the work, to being authentic, to being genuine, whereas that might not have been their motive, and likely wasn't if it was a narcissistic person. So we're not wanting to let go of the 1, 2, 3, 10, 15 years that we've put into this person, because it's almost like, well, I've invested all of this time and energy, and if I leave, someone else is going to get the healed version of them. I know I thought that when I was thinking about leaving. It's like, why would I have put in all of this work just to leave before it gets better? And it kept, like, the carrot kept moving farther away of when it was going to get better, and I just wasn't able to accept it. So having the hope, having the excitement, being in that potential land is one reason that we are dissociating from the red flags that we see. The second reason is that we haven't done our work around knowing our non-negotiables and being able to set boundaries. So I think about this clarity that we find around ourselves about our non-negotiables, our values, our needs, our wants, as this backboard that we get to have. This backboard of who I am and what I need, that I can bounce other people's behavior off of to tell me if it's acceptable or not, right? I have a standard. If you think about it the other way, I have a bar. I have a bar that's set. And I can use that to measure what is it that I'm receiving, what is it that I'm not receiving. And if I know what I need, if I know what I won't settle for, then I'm less likely to justify things that don't align with that. If I don't have that backboard, we're more likely to fall into giving people too much benefit of the doubt. We convince ourselves that people don't lie, he just made a mistake, again, he didn't mean it, it was just one time, I can actually be okay with this version of them, I can settle for less. And we start to make a lot of justifications for their behavior. We start to sort of morph what we need into what they're giving us instead of knowing what we need and seeing what they're giving us as not enough and being able to walk away from that situation. This goes hand in hand with boundaries. If I don't have a backboard, if I don't know who I am and what I want and what I stand for and what I don't stand for, then it's hard to set a boundary around anything because I'm just sort of this malleable chameleon that will become whatever you want me to be. I need to have done the self-work to be able to really clarify and articulate those things to myself so that I can hold myself accountable. For instance, if I have identified that honesty is a value of mine and that lying is not okay in my relationships, I lose trust, I'm not willing to be in relationship with people who lie, and my partner is lying to me, I'm more easily able to identify that there needs to be a boundary set there, that there needs to be a conversation, that there needs to be accountability, as opposed to knowing that I'd rather them not lie, but giving them the benefit of the doubt that for this fifth time, they've done the same thing. Knowing your non-negotiables, knowing these things is coupled along also with having the confidence to be able to stand up for the boundary. I have a self-guided course that I want to offer you guys a promo code for. It's called Find Yourself Again, and it takes you through step-by-step simple exercises where you can really start to identify your values, your needs, your wants, your non-negotiables, so that you can enter relationships into this very self-aware, knowing, boundaried, healthful place. The code is podcast10 for 10% off. So that's my gift to you. Because it's so important. We have to know who we are, what we want, what we stand for in order to protect it, in order to protect ourselves. So as you are listening to this and learning about why, right? Learning about that desire for us to hold on to the excitement and the hope and the potential land, and knowing that when we have less boundaries and less awareness of ourselves, we're more easily manipulated and more easily gullible. You need to meet yourself with compassion. We cannot judge our way into healing. Integrating that experience so that we can heal it, so that we can learn from it, so that we can get up and close and personal with those feelings and tend to what we're feeling because of it. When you think about you in that last relationship, seeing these red flags but not being able to do anything about it and just making excuses for whatever was happening, does that bring up feelings of guilt, remorse, grief, sadness? What are the feelings that are underneath those experiences? We often want to run away from that feeling. So we judge it. We hold it at arm's length. We hold it away. How could I have done this? And we stay in that surface level, just criticizing ourselves, which is not healing the experience. So the more that you can tend to yourself, the more that you can have a space that's safe enough to do that, the better and faster that you are going to heal. The more that you're going to take that past experience of not seeing the red flags and not repeat that again. When we're judging and we're criticizing and not integrating, we often will repeat the same behavior because we don't heal from criticism. We don't heal from judgment. There's a deeper reason why. There's a deeper reason why the excitement, the hope kept you holding on. There's a deeper reason why you hadn't been setting the boundaries. So getting into that is the juice of your healing. This work, this looking backwards to find clarity, is brave as fuck. Okay? It's easier to distract and criticize and try to move forward without really having to go back to feel the things that don't feel good. So knowing why there are reasons that you turned your blind eye, knowing that you're also likely a victim of gaslighting and manipulation, can help you to treat yourself with kindness, to really open that space for you to truly do that inner work to heal. So remember, holding on to the excitement doesn't make you a bad person. Not knowing your non-negotiables or your boundaries doesn't make you an idiot. It makes you exactly where you were at that time. And now that you know different, you can do different. So in the words of Maya Angelou, do the best you can until you know better. Once you know better, then do better. And again, remember to jumpstart your awareness around your values, your non-negotiables, your needs, your wants, use code podcast10 for 10% off my self-guided course called Find Yourself Again. That link is in the show notes. And let's go ahead and pull a card for you for an additional message that you can use this week in your healing. So we got amoeba. If you're not looking, this is a picture of an amoeba. So a cell without really strict boundaries, which is perfect for what we are talking about. Amoeba says, Amoeba, the simple survivor, has everything she needs. This visitor, in her simplicity, brings a message of independence, individuality, and longevity. Since the beginning of time, she has existed, undefined by shape, able to stretch and flow in her own way. Amoeba brings a message of autonomy and freedom. You won't get trapped or boxed in. You have skillfully maneuvered out of confining, rigid situations before, and this time is no different. Trust your history and natural ability to shapeshift. Amoeba reminds you of the flexibility of your very nature. Slippery at times and able to move fluidly through any situation, you have all you need. Enjoy the self-sufficiency you embody. If perhaps you've forgotten your autonomy and stick like a parasite to things that don't serve you, Amoeba is a reminder to be flexible, creative, and to let go. Being too strict goes against your natural essence. Free yourself and simplify. I hope that gives you something to chew on this week of how you can be more flexible in moving out of situations that don't serve you and compassion, compassion, compassion for you as you are moving through this week, through this week and this work. Until next time.